Hey, hello, this is H1, and we're about to be running it back! Running it back with another episode! I kind of lost the note at the end, but still, that singing ability can be honed to be the greatest singer in America. I could be the next Michael Jackson, call me Michael H1. But anyway, let's get back into learning about chess knowledge, chess wisdom, chess understanding. And let's get into it. So we are going to be learning how to checkmate our opponent with just our queen and our king. With the most powerful piece of the board. Oh snap, you can't see my hand. With the most powerful piece of the board and the most important piece of the board. And I only say the king is most important because if the king gets checkmated, then the game is over and the queen can move everywhere. So the queen is still more powerful than the king. Okay, don't be trying to cancel me or nothing. But it's just a game of chess. Hey, leave me alone. Let's just figure out how to checkmate with these pieces right quick. So we got this normal position. It's pretty lit. We got the queen behind the king already. And to start out this checkmate, just like with the rook checkmate and the queen rook checkmate, the first step will always be to cut off the board. You have to make sure that your opponent's king is limited in squares, so that they can just roam around everywhere. And this queen is going to control this man and do queen e1 right quick. So queen e1, making sure that this king never crosses the e file. And you know what we're going to do next? We are going to just keep on taking the files, because the king should have went somewhere like this, but it didn't. There is one step that is going to be different. Instead of just doing the taking over the file, which you can in this scenario, but with the queen, the second step is to be a knight's move away. What do I mean? Well, you want to create a little box for your opponent's queen. For your opponent's king, right? You want to make sure that they're in a little box, just like a kitten, and that they don't escape the box. You are supposed to make sure that they stay in the box no matter what. Leave them an air hole, but make sure that they're surviving and that their box just gets smaller and smaller and smaller until the next step, which I will tell you about. So a knight's move away. We got two squares that we can go to. That's a knight's move away. We got the e6 square and the e4 square. And remember, the knight moves in a capital L shape, right? So yeah, let's move to e4. This is the smaller box. And do you see the box now? Remember, the queen moves in a diagonal up, down, left, right. And this queen is definitely controlling where the king goes. And we're going to stay a knight's move away, but we're just going to keep on making that box a little bit smaller than what it is. So then we're going to do queen d4. Queen d4, they move the king up. And if they move the king up, you're kind of just making sure that you're you know what, compare this to dancing with a woman, or if you're a woman dancing with a man doing some salsa or something. You're just following the rhythm of your opponent's king, and that's pretty much what you're doing. And so we're going to do queen e5. Just follow the rhythm, be a knight's move away, make sure that their box just gets a little bit smaller, following the rhythm. Hey, you know what I mean? Follow the rhythm. And then after we follow the rhythm all the way to the king on the edge of the board, you got to make sure that you follow the third step. And the third step is to make sure that king stays on the edge of the board. There's one way to make sure that the king stays on the edge of the board, and that's going to be b4. What do I mean by placing the king on the edge of the board? Now this king is in a smaller box, and this king only has 3 squares to go to on this file, and it's just a little bit complicated. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit complicated for the king, because the king has no more room, and it's kind of like being handcuffed to a chair where you're just limited in space and limited in what you can do. And so for you grown-ups, stop thinking that way. But the fourth step, I think we're on the fourth step, but the fourth step is for you to bring your king into the game now. So we're just gonna walk this king over here, maybe to c7 or to c6, but we're gonna walk the king all the way over in front of this black king. And in order to get the checkmate, we need the cooperation and the partnership. So the queen can't do it alone without the king. So the powerful queen can't checkmate alone without the most important king. So let's get into this. We're gonna walk the king over like normal, and then we got two checkmates. We can do this one, right? This one is a normie. We can do this one with the rook and king. This is a normie because the king can go up. The king cannot touch the other king, and the king cannot escape the queen. Or we can just go right in front of their face, and this is the boss move that I always like doing. Queen b6, baby, checkmate again. And the king cannot capture the queen because the king is protecting the white queen, okay, or the light queen. Let's do it one more time, and then y'all can get on with y'all day, knowing how to queen and king checkmate. Let's cover the file again, and then now we are going to go a knight move away. Put your opponent's king in a little box like a kitten. You know what I mean? Poke some air holes so that they can breathe. Let's do this, and then follow the king. A nice move away still. Make the box a little bit smaller, and remember, you know, you're salsa dancing with your partner, and you're in rhythm. You know what I mean? You're in rhythm. And then once the king is on the edge of the board, we are going to place. Wait a minute, this is more accurate. Oh snap! I forgot to show that. Let's do this move. So we are going to trap the king on the edge of the board, and now the king is trapped within the A file. Now I did want to show you this one thing because this is important not to do, because you do not want to fall into stalemate on the queen king checkmate. You know how embarrassing it is that you have the queen and the king and you're facing in a tournament and you thought that you had the checkmate, but then you stalemate and you draw a winning position. It's really embarrassing, and I do not wish that upon you. So let me show you the stalemate. This move right here, if you get too close, would be stalemate automatically. And we do not want stalemate when we're doing the queen king checkmate, especially when we're winning. It's stalemate because the king cannot go anywhere else, because that would be a illegal move. And it's an illegal move because the king would be putting themselves into check. A lot of new people, they wouldn't even go that close to the king to start with. They would just either give the king more space, so they would avoid checkmate. So if the king is on the edge, just be wary of getting stalemate. We do not want stalemate. And then after the king is on the edge, don't touch the queen anymore. We don't need to touch the queen unless we're delivering checkmate on our next move. So we're going to just walk the king over, walk the king over, walk the king over, and then we are going to deliver checkmate on queen b2. And the queen b2 is done. The king is checkmated, the king is defending the queen, and the king cannot capture because of the king is defending the queen. And the king has no more space to go. So remember these steps, watch it again if you don't. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta put me in a wide frame so that y'all can understand how serious I am about all of this stuff that is important. So remember, watch this over if you need to look at it again. Face a computer. You can do like a board analysis or like a board editor on leechess.org or chess.com. Any one of those, that would be good. And just play the computer on hard and make sure that you get the checkmate and do it yourself in the practice. Because once you practice, then your skills will be perfect for a real game. Peace. Yeah.
It's no turning back, pressing on toward the vision. Yeah, I see where we was, and I see where we going. It's no turning back, pressing on toward the vision. Yeah, man, we choosing to get up and keep it moving. It's